Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the pro-Black perspective, where Black problems are addressed with Black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.
On the beat, boy.
Welcome to episode 52. We did 52 of these bad boys of the Harsh Reality Podcast. I'm your host, D Webb, and of course, I'm joined by my esteemed co-host. We got the one and only Gangsta Boo, Liro. What's going on with?
Peace. What's up? We back at it.
We're back at it, and we're gonna try to be consistent. We're gonna keep dropping these weekly. Hopefully, we might have a break here and there, but we're gonna try to keep it consistent for y'all, yo. Before we begin, we gotta shout out our KWAZ Radio family. Make sure y'all check them out. Tons of shows over there. And lastly, we on Patreon. Please donate. Of course, all proceeds go to upgrading the show and doing the best job we can. And if you want to drop an email, hit us up at theharshrealitypod@gmail.com. Might be a little shorter episode, but we're gonna make sure we knock out all the topics and cover everything for you guys today. So the first thing we got, everybody's been talking about it. Everybody and a mama, uncle, brother, sister, cousin been talking about it. I'm sure you heard about the tiff we got between, or the latest saga between Iran and I'm talking about Iran, Israel and Palestine, or Hamas, I should say, but whatever pseudonym they're using to justify, going to war over there. But long story short, I'm trying to see if we're on the verge, you say, of a world war with everything going on. I think you have Russia chiming in. I believe China has chimed in on the situation. Everybody's saying something different. And of course, we got the orange man himself who's been talking lately. This is more so to do with Ukraine, but we're going to pull this up and you can see his latest thoughts. Agent Orange, baby. There you go.
And we have a corrupt, compromised president, crooked Joe Biden, who is dragging us into World War III. And that's what's happening on behalf of a nation that paid his family millions and millions of dollars in obvious bribes. All you have to do is take a look at how much China, how much Ukraine have paid the Biden family. It's a total disgrace and a very dangerous one. Under these circumstances, the notion that we would even consider admitting Ukraine into NATO at this time is completely unhinged. Joe Biden can't even walk up a flight of stairs on Air Force One, and he can't put two sentences together. The last thing that this incompetent administration should be doing is risking war with a nuclear-armed Russia or China or other countries. We have somebody that doesn't have a clue representing us. And we have a corrupt, compromise.
So he was dropping a mixtape. I expect a mixtape to come after that. Yeah, we have this brother here. We're going to play this video for y'all.
Deployed the largest war. All right, guys, here we go. The U.S. has deployed the largest warship in the world to assist Israel. So just like in part one, I told you guys that we were on the brink of a world war. But let's go down the rabbit hole on why this is happening, because I found some interesting things. First, we have Hamas attacking Israel on the 50th anniversary of the 1973 war, which is very symbolic. Now, secondly, I told you guys about that three-headed monster with Russia, North Korea, and China. This is a perfect play for China. Why? China wants Taiwan. Now, being that the U.S. is already involved with the Ukraine war and now the Israel war, they would be spread way too thin to get involved. Another point is, isn't it so strange just a few days ago that we had a national emergency alert test, not only in America, but also in Russia?
Massive barrage of rockets coming in here, not too far from us, so we have had to take shelter here by the roadside. We're just about.
Now that was CNN reporter Clarissa Ward, who's always at the right place in the right time for that perfect shot, which is interesting because she had another close call with the Taliban about 2 years ago. Interesting. Oh, last but not least, follow the money. BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, just a couple months ago buys Krios Capital, which is a company that provides loans to Israel startups. But what do you guys think about all this madness? Comment below.
So there you have it. We had a couple people chime in on their thoughts. Some thoughts to you, Lero. Do you think we are on the brink of a possible world war, or if this is business as usual, the military-industrial complex trying to get their shekels in, and what you think?
I definitely think we're seeing a lot of pushback from the West, especially to this rise in like global polarity and other players being on the main stage, and things ain't just functioning solely upon the West, as it has been for, such a long time. You got Russia, you got China, who are kind of spearheading things along with, North Korea, the functioning of BRICS and whatnot. But in regards to this Israel and Palestine situation, I think the West was wearing thin a little bit. They chucked a lot of money to Ukraine. How you going to juggle Ukraine back in Israel, back in Taiwan, for the advancement of, their objectives and their interests in keeping their hegemon going as the way it has been. I won't say we are like on the brink of a world war. I think, because when you think of a World War II, people a lot of think, oh, nuclear weapons, everybody getting nuke bombed, it's gonna be Armageddon up in here. But I think the West interests too are more so of a financial interest, and they know sending out nukes to other countries is going to be met with some pushback now, and I think the losses from a world war are something that they're not really going to, the financial losses specifically, because I won't say they care about civilian lives, but the losses, their interest, their financial losses are more so what's on mind. So I think there's going to be measures to try to prolong that or prevent that, but down the line, I definitely see this leading to another major global conflict. What interests will be at play, I'm not for certain. I think the next couple decades, though, are going to be pretty vital in what's going to happen. And, everybody needs to get prepared because, like I said, when it comes to like world war and the amount of weaponry, that are being developed today, because when we think of the last, atomic bomb and that hit Japan, like, hey, it's a different game now, and we really gotta be protecting our own interests. We need to have our own interests, as a people too, to combat these players who are coming up and advancing their own. Hey, everybody got to get their bone. So I hope we get, our it's in line. But yeah, I definitely, I don't say it's like imminent, but I can definitely see it happening in the next couple decades.
Word, I like what you said there. You stay ready. You don't have to get ready. You feel me? But you hit on a very good point when you was talking about the BRICS and basically hitting on the economic. You've already seen the economic warfare. To be honest, it's been war for decades at this point. It's just been not so much bullets, but it's been economic warfare or even psychological warfare. I think they call it fourth or fifth generation warfare at this point, where you may not necessarily see a bunch of bullets flying, outside of these proxy wars they always prop up, but you're going to see a lot of economic terms, and the biggest one we're seeing right now is the BRICS situation, where they're trying to halt the people's or they're trying to get an alliance going where they can economically challenge the West. And it's looking like it's going to be a way. If you think about it, particularly in America, they don't produce anything anymore. You seen when the pandemic went down, they was hard up for medical supplies, masks, basic shit. They don't even produce here anymore. So I believe that if you had a pushback, the petrodollar goes down, all this good stuff, you could see a very, very harsh, shameless plug right there, downturn as far as, the way people are living in the West, the way it's going down. This could very well become a second world country very quick. And I think that hits on your point, Lero, where it's like, yo, you better stay ready. You better be stacked up, because if it does come to the point where this is a second world country where these people are used to eating 3 good meals a day filled with all kind of GMO nice goodies they be used to and all this other stuff, I think that's the biggest challenge. The biggest thing you need to be cognizant of is if these fail safe they got here go away, it could get kind of ugly. It could get a little ugly out here. You feel me? So that's the one thing I will take away from all of this thing, is that I would say, as far as the regular person goes, not even hitting on a World War III shit or what, just on your everyday life, you may want to start preparing. You may want to do little things that ensure that you can eat every day. You may want to grow a little garden. You may want to go to the range. You may want to get in some kind of decent shape, because you never know what the future brings. You know what I'm saying? As far as us on the world stage, I don't know if it would necessarily be, because the United States is not the only nuclear power anymore, right? I think you talked about that. And it's not so. You basically, nobody, I say these people are homicidal, they're not suicidal, right? Nuclear Armageddon, nobody benefits from that. So I think you're right on that. You're only gonna see proxy wars as far as, boots on the ground type stuff. But I think the economic warfare will continue for quite a while, and it could possibly impact a lot of people, yo. A lot of normal, regular people. So that's what I got. You got any thoughts on that?
No. I mean, really, just to piggyback off you, we do need to be even on just an individual level, taking better care of ourselves and our health, and making plans for our life. You don't necessarily gotta actually do something, but it's always good to have a plan B. If things go wrong, I got an exit plan. I got this just in case you have to use it. We should really be proactive and thinking ahead, especially with all these conflicts going on the economic front and on the the literal front too.
Definitely shot the shopper 12 out there, throwing some Bible verses out here. But even if you don't prescribe to that necessarily, everything, even if you want to go, a lot of stuff has been prophesied. You want to go to the Machiavelli prophecies and things of that nature. They have talked about it, and they specifically talk about the West versus somebody in the East. So yeah, plenty of people have spoke on that. So I guess we shall see what is to come of that. I'm not gonna go too deep into the Israel because of Palestine. I'm sure you heard so many podcasts and so many people commenting on that. I think you kind of know what it is. I think what was interesting, what I've seen at least, is as far as it comes to the black people in this whole thing. Floyd Money Mayweather flew a whole jet or a whole plane full of supplies out there to Israel after the initial attack and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think they made a guy made a whole video where they was cutting off the water or something in the Palestine part or whatever. He's like teasing them, like playing his water, his electricity and stuff like that. I don't think they hurting supplies, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, why are you sitting in the hole? You from Flint, Michigan, dog. I'm sure people in Flint, Michigan can use a plane full of supplies more than they could over there right now. At least on the side you're sending it to, right? So that was, to me, it was interesting. I think it's also interesting that you got different players on both sides. Normally you can tell kind of what is the benevolent side, or the more psyop type side, or the more alphabet organization side of the ordeal. But it seems like you got players on both sides, repping one side or the other. So I think that's an interesting thing. It's not all cut and dry as to who you should rock with. You feel me? Honestly, I just neutral myself. Like, have at it. Shit, it ain't got nothing to do with me. But I think the propaganda has been crazy too. You know what I'm saying? Like every day is something different, and then the next day they retract that. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're starting to see firsthand the effects of no trusted media source out here. You know what I'm saying? Like literally there is nobody who you could trust to give you like fair and neutral news these days, which is crazy, yo. And it's been hitting at that for a while. Like, have you seen when they did like said like 40 babies or something was beheaded, and like the next day, oh, we can't confirm that, we don't know, blah 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 blah. You saw that?
Man, they were just lying. It was just lying, because I be on Telegram, and I look at some, interesting content. And I'm telling you, wasn't no babies being beheaded up on there. You know what I mean? They were just flat out lying. I think, this whole manufacturing consent, but I think at this point it's kind of unnecessary because you don't have the consent for a lot of things. You didn't have the majority consent to go fund Ukraine, but you went and did it anyway. So I think that whole is just unnecessary. And the lies are being called out a lot. Like you said, on both sides, it's just crazy propaganda. And but
yeah, I literally can't and I'm pretty good too. But it's like, yo, like at this point, you can't believe literally nothing. And wait till they get the AI cracking. Once they perfect all this good stuff, it's like they've already even before this incident, there's always been people pushing propaganda where they putting videos from years ago and rerunning them every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Every couple years, act like it's an incident that just happened and all this other stuff. So I think we're actually being flooded with a propaganda warfare right now, where it's to the point where you don't know what to believe. You're just basically picking a side with whoever you rock with. And that's sad, to be honest with you. Like, you got to get your most unbiased news probably podcast. You know what I'm saying? You might as well tune into us. You might get the most neutral news you probably go get. You feel me? But that's all I got. You got anything else on this Israeli Palestine saga or anything in closing on that?
No, I ain't got nothing on it.
I feel you. All right, so next story we got, interesting one. We got 3 hospitals in Alabama supposedly closing their maternity wards, which is nuts. So let me pull up the story here. Okay, bam. So if you can see the story here. Top says driving 100 miles in labor, giving birth in the ER, fears rise as 3 maternity units prepare to close in Alabama. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it goes on to say how these 3 maternity units, not the hospitals themselves, just the maternity units, are closing. And it basically says that it's due to low staff. They don't have the staff. They have to have a certain amount of staff in order to have a maternity ward. And they just don't got the people no more. Of course, they're going to cite that one is in a predominantly Black neighborhood. But if you look at the statistics, the highest mortality death rate is among Black women as far as childbirth. So I don't know how good these people are actually doing considering the stats. So my question to you, Lero, I'm gonna throw this out to you as being a woman. Should people be worried about the situation, right? Of them not having these maternity wards and they're closing, or should people have been looking for alternatives like doulas, birthing centers, home birthing, things like that? What our ancestors used to do before the whole Rockefeller Western takeover of the hospital complex. So what do you think? Do you think it's become a necessity these days to have those maternity wards, or is this kind of a low-key good thing?
I think it's a little bit of both, in the sense that, like, I'm a big advocate for home births, birthing centers, doulas, midwives. I just think, we, especially, as Black folks, African folks, have a better, we have the better mindset as to what's better for our people, especially in the healthcare setting. You know what I mean? Like, people just not gonna get you. I'm so grateful all my physicians are Black, because it's been the best decision of my life. And that's not to say that Black physicians aren't infallible, but what's going on in these healthcare settings are just it's a mess. And with folks being short staffed, it is tough. It's just, I mean, being short staffed puts you at an immediate just malpractice. I mean, just as far as what I've seen working in healthcare, it's not going. Things aren't being done as they should. Things aren't being reported and documented as they should. So many mistakes are being made by doctors, nurses, aides, just everybody in the facility, because it's hectic. And you also have like a lot of people people are getting sicker, people are getting older, and there's not enough people to come and work these jobs. You have a lot of people who are also leaving healthcare due to one, the issues with the pandemic. I mean, they fired so many of their staffs, you know what I mean, which was absolutely crazy. Two, people are just like not with it. The workload is not worth the pay, and I can go do a couple years in school and get me a tech job and make more money, sitting at home on my computer than I can hustling and bustling 12 hours a day in this hospital. So, it's a lot of factors going into why, the healthcare field is short staffed, but you really, can't be putting your trust, especially when it comes to fertility, because, as Black women, we've had so many cases of malpractice in regards to our births and whatnot, and it's just ridiculous. And I think it is best that we look at alternatives outside of the hospital. And that's not to say that you may not still need a hospital, because some women, I mean, they try to have their births at home, and they have complications where you need an advanced medical setting to get that help. Completely understandable. Just also be inquiring a lot into the hospitals and the facilities and the doctors that you are consulting. It plays a part, because not everybody's doing their job, and if you don't look into their history, they will not tell you. You know what I mean? Nobody talks about it, but it's a dirt on a lot of people and on a lot of facilities as well. And so I'm a big advocate of finding other alternatives for healthcare in general, but especially when it comes to birthing your children.
Or definitely not all hospitals, not all facilities are created equal. I will tell you that. And I know you know that. And some you hit on earlier, like the third leading cause of death is medical malpractice. You know what I'm saying? You have some people that's refuting that, but the stats is out there. Like the third leading cause is just doctors fucking up, right? And you need to be cognizant of that as well. But I think you are correct. You feel me? That a lot of they do have the birthing centers, they do have doulas that come, they do have people that help you give those home births and stuff like that. I know I actually had a homeboy who he ended up trying to call his the wet nurse, and not the wet nurse. What's the word I'm looking for here? You know what I'm talking about? Not the doula, but the other lady supposed to help you with the birthing. But anyway, he tried to call her about 2 a.m. The baby was coming. She didn't pick up. He ended up birthing his own kid. You know what I'm saying? That's a dope story, but that could have went a whole ways left. You feel me? So a lot of times when you go to these birthing centers, these natural birthing centers, they do have a hospital on call just in case, complications do happen. So I think that's the biggest thing. That's probably the most dangerous thing in this situation, that even if you do home birth, you got everything, your ducks in a row and all that, things do happen when they have to rush you to the hospital, loss of blood, heart rates dropping, stuff like that. So that could be a dangerous situation right there. At the same time, I do think people have become dependent on the hospitals to give birth. You know what I'm saying? When, like you said, it used to be a home thing, right? Until they figured out how much money you can make, particularly giving out C-sections, right? I think it's probably a ton of unnecessary C-sections that go on every year, because guess what? They're going to charge your provider a grip for that. You know what I'm saying? I think what's $5,000 or something at least for a C-section. And my numbers could be wrong. Feel free to fact check me, but it's definitely more than a natural birth. Also, the recovery rate's going to be longer. So guess what? They can keep you in the hospital longer, right? And they charge you every day for that. You feel me? So people don't know that hospitals are for-profit businesses. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize that the job of the hospital, and a lot of these hospitals, believe it or not, were going under prior to the pandemic. A lot of these hospitals were in debt. You know what I'm saying? Until those Rona funds started to flow. So keep that in mind as well. So there's you know me. I'm not. I always mock you, Lero, about being the comrade, right? Even though I be fucking with you, right? But I do think medicine is one of those situations where you do need it to be somewhat at least socialized, or somewhat where it's not for profit. Everything shouldn't be a for profit endeavor. People's health shouldn't be a for-profit endeavor. Now, if you want some extra stuff, you want to go get your BBLs and you want to go get your plastic surgeries but just run-of-the-mill basic healthcare, I think should not be in that category where it's for-profit. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I think needs to definitely be reformed here. And I didn't really super dive into it. I don't know if Alabama is the only one facing this issue with the maternity wards closing, particularly since that's probably the most profitable part of the hospital. But I think the biggest takeaway is that they can't keep people in there, right? They can't keep staff in there. They can't keep staffing the hospital maternity wards. And you're seeing that across the board in a lot of industries that are vital, where they cannot keep people working, yo. I don't know what people are doing for money, for bread these days, but a lot of industries cannot keep workers. Are you kind of seeing that? What's it like on your end, Lero?
Oh, definitely. I mean, in healthcare especially, I mean, you can't keep nobody. I mean, shoot, I don't stay at a place longer than a year, but I mean, some people are just actually leaving the field, to find other avenues of making money. And like, you said, it's even outside of just healthcare, so many people are just like not having it anymore. Now, how they making it work? Hey, beyond me. I heard of a couple things, but
we gonna keep that all out,
okay. Look, they making it work. I ain't even see nothing. But yeah, you got a lot of people leaving the field and leaving these industries, and it's leading to just so many just other economic triggers. We got our inflation of power supply chain short, all these other things, which, some stuff is kind of more complicated than they like to just throw out there at us. But yeah, we see in a lot of these industries just not being able to keep their workers. And I don't know what's to say to that or the solution to that, but
yeah, I seen postings for like virtual nurses. I said, how do you have a virtual nurse, dog? Like, that's your job. Like, how could you really tell somebody's health from over the camera? That was one of the things I was seeing, during the whole pandemic. You feel me? It's like, okay, we don't want you to come in, but you're gonna go to this camera, tell us if there's anything wrong with you, and that's gonna be the end of you're not getting your vitals taken, you're not getting any of that, so that was weird to me. But they still charge, and that insurance company, I bet you. One of the things I will say too, I think that's not really talked about, or that's not talked about, is the diet, particularly when you're pregnant and when you're with child and stuff like that. I don't think there's enough attention paid to actually the health of the mother, the diet of the mother, and things like that. So if we do run into a situation where we do see widespread closure of maternity wards, widespread, or increasing of home births, which like I said, I think is a good thing, but we do not need to be cognizant to take care of our health a little bit better. And I think you'll have a lot better outcomes as far as childbirth. If you look at the stats, when they say Black women have the highest mortality or death rate during childbirth, I don't think nobody also dives into the fact that Black women are number one when it comes to hypertension. Black women are number one when it comes to obesity. When it comes to heart conditions, Black women are number one. So we kind of need to take care of that as well. Of course, it could be the hospitals doing the lack of care, but we all know that we also got to take care of ourselves, because nobody gonna take care of you like you would take care of yourself. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from this story, I think, is that we got to do better at being aware of our health, being aware of preventative measures instead of always being reactionary once shit goes bad. So that's the biggest thing for any of these ladies out here thinking of having children, creating some more these babies, populating the world. Keep in mind, man, keep that health up to par as best you can, and I think that'll help a lot. You have anything else on that stuff?
No, I'm good.
All right. So the next thing we got Miss Carlee Russell back in the news. If nobody remembers, she was the famous person or who famously faked her kidnapping. That was almost a year ago now, right? So I think they finally went to court, finally sentenced her. So we know what's going to be her ultimate fate at this point. Looks like they're going to fine her $18,000, and they're saying she's going to spend a year in jail. Let's pull up this article here. Yep. So $18K for the hoax kidnapping. That's a video. I don't think it's going to load. And she has to $18,000 in restitution, spend a year in jail in the Hoover County Court. All right, she's found guilty, and then it goes on to say, it goes basically to relay the story of what happened. I'm pretty sure everybody here remembers what happened with Carlee and faking her kidnapping and whatever reason she did it for. It was a truly idiotic thing to do. So my question is, do you think that the crime or the punishment fits the crime in this case, or you think she got off a little bit light? What you think, Leroy? Yo, especially the fuck 12 shit. I know what you about to say.
I'm always on my fuck 12. I don't like to see anybody going to jail. So nobody was harmed. So I don't want to see her go to jail. No, but she only got a year. But so you gotta check your L. What you did was dumb. I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. I can't explain the reasoning behind that. It gives kind of like borderline personality disorder. She got some mental health issues she need to work out, I feel, as to why she would do something so crazy. But if anybody thought she was coming out of this with no repercussions, you're nuts. Like, yeah, as soon as they knew it was a hoax, I was like, oh yeah, she going to jail. But
going to jail, not pass go, not collect $200.
Look, you are going to jail, man. I hope you got some noodles on that counter, because baby, you finna sit.
Word is by, yeah.
Hey, look, but hopefully she learned her lesson and she'll, do better going forward.
Yeah, I think basically the embarrassment is what got she basically, kind of embarrassed that area. I say sometimes worst thing you can do is embarrass certain people, right? And I think the biggest thing that people look at is that you actually took resources away from, like, if they actually were looking for somebody. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of kids out here missing. There's a lot of women out here missing, It's a lot of people who are missing out here, and you just kind of took resources away from those people because you mad at your boyfriend or whatever the fuck is going on, right? And I think that's the biggest travesty of this whole thing, is that you wasted a lot of resources. And that's why you're getting hit with that 18 G's in that year in the joint. Honestly, I think she got off a little bit light. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine if she really was kidnapping, the person who kidnapped her would probably be facing life. Kidnapping is a life in jail, prison thing, So hopefully she learns a lesson from all of this, But I think she got off pretty light, considering what she did. You feel me? This is a national news story. And then also going forward, people might do the whole cry wolf thing now, right? When somebody is actually missing, they might be like, yo, this might be a Carlee Russell, or this don't sound right, which I ain't gonna lie, the story didn't sit right with me from the jump. Baby on the side of the road type of shit. I'm like, that don't even sound right, But you know what? From the whole Jussie Smollett thing, right? When that whole thing went down, and I was a lot more active on social media then and shit. I was like, yo, this don't sound right. Me knowing that part of Chicago, from the crib, you going to Subway in that area, and somebody's some MAGA hats and ropes around your neck. This ain't Alabama, bro. This downtown Chicago, bro. And I said that, and I swear people was on my neck. On my neck, people I know 20, 30 years. How dare you? This is serious. We're facing this racism in America. I said, bro, that ain't got, the story just don't sound right to me, bro. Knowing what I know about this area. And then a couple months later, oh yeah, my bad, bro. Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? So with this whole thing with I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I'm I'm gonna shut up this time. I'll be quiet. We're gonna let it play down. But the story don't sit right with me. It don't make sense to me. And sure enough, here she go, doing some bullshit. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I think she got off light, but hopefully she can learn a lesson from this, and other people can learn a lesson from this, and see that you do stupid stuff, play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, right? So hopefully she can bounce back. I think she's young, she's still in her 20s or something like that. So I think you hit it, Lero. Like hopefully she can bounce back, be productive member of a society. Get back to your community, like old boy Bashar Lynch say. But that's all I got. Her. You got anything else on any piggyback off that?
Nah.
All right, we gonna keep it pushing, yo. Carlee, get your shit together, yo. And don't be trying to say no babies on the side of the road. Oh man. And then, what's funny is this next story. That's kind of why I put these two together right here, right? So we got California enacts what's called the Ebony Alert. And pull this up. So it was a law signed by Governor Newsom recently of California, officially enacting what's called a Ebony Alert system specifically for Black women and children. It's funny because this says Black women and children, but if you look at what they say, it says people of color. They do the people of color shit, which don't mean absolutely nothing. Which happens to a lot of things where they say, oh, this alert, people of color, and then all of a sudden, everybody else is taking advantage of it. But you can see the article here, and he had people give their comment on it. In California, new law passed that creates a separate alert when Black kids go missing called an Ebony Alert. Now, we already have an Amber Alert that took care of all kids, yet we have a separate one for Black individuals. Does this make any sense in Ebony? Yeah, I was not fond of that name. Yo, a child is a child no matter what color. California needs to stop pushing this race agenda is the response to that tweet here. And of course, this grifter Ian Miles Cheong, if you know his abysmal policy, every missing kid deserves to be rescued without preference to skin color. And then, you got these people chiming in. But anyway, what you think about the Ebony Alert outside of it being one of the worst named things I've probably ever heard? It sounds like some low budget like porn or some shit. But what do you think about the system? Do you think it's a okie doke where are they trying to gonna eventually include everybody and it's not gonna be beneficial? Is they trying to pander out there in California, which we know? You think this is a good thing, or is segregation back, baby? What you got?
I don't think it's a good thing. Not because I think, it's racist or whatnot. I think it's just kind of a mockery. You know what I mean? One Ebony Alert, that's crazy right there. That's crazy, but that's
worse.
a
Who
whole other
named that shit right?
Okay, like, bruh. But I think it's just a mockery, and just like these political games that are being played and people are being used. You got to be careful, especially as Black women. They see how especially these Democrats are trying to single you out and use your image and your struggle or quote unquote plight or whatever it is. There's you have these feminist sectors that kind of push these narratives about us as Black women, and now you kind of have to be joined in with the brunt of that, and it's a no-go. But I will say too though that I do think a lot of Black women and Black children in general, both boys and girls, who go missing aren't taken as seriously. A lot of times it's like, oh, she probably was worse off where she was at, or he was probably running out in the streets, got caught up in the streets. That's why he ain't home, and they don't take it, as serious as they would if another kid, even another person of color, like you said, that whole person of color don't even mean nothing. But they don't take it as seriously. Oh, little white girl go missing, that's front headline news. We got to find this girl. Just seen a little story on CNN, and you have a lot of kids. I think just a couple weeks ago, in Ohio, there was it's an uptick in children that are going missing. And, and like they say, most kids and most people in general that go missing are eventually found. But there are thousands upon thousands each year that are not. You know what I mean? And there is, a rise in of trafficking, and people are out here snatching folks up. Look, they are definitely, But I think this was unnecessary. It seems to be part of a more like political agenda that I'm just not really with. I'm not real with the whole, black women, TM thing. Like it's getting weird. I don't think any of the narratives, these public narratives, that about black women, some that are even supported by black women, are beneficial for black women. So I'm definitely not with that and us being singled out. But I do think we as a people can do our part in, kind of the women that go missing in your communities, put up flyers, talk about them more as you go out in your community. That's the things that we can do to try to, wherever we reside at, to try to mitigate any of our children or our women or even our boys and our men, too, because things, it's crazy out here. The stuff out here is crazy out here. People doing some wild stuff. So yeah, I think we can all do a better job at protecting one another. But this whole Ebony Alert is some crazy stuff. But I mean, what can you really expect from California? So
If there's a crazy law, it's like 9 times out of 10 you hear something crazy, it's like it's got to be Florida or it's got to be California, one or the other. And yeah, sister out there, shout out to Highly Flavored. Ebony Alert is not for children under 12. Now, if you're saying it's not for children under 12, or are you saying that they're not involved? Let me check the article here. I thought it said women and children, whether they adults, it don't really matter. Missing black under the age of 25. This is what it says right here. California Governor Newsom signed the bill on October 8th, setting the stage for new law to go into effect on January 1st. The law will empower California Highway Patrol to issue an Ebony Alert for missing black people under the age of 25. So anybody under the age of 25. And it's funny because the top says for black women and children. What about the brothers? Like, so is that anybody under 25? So if you read the wording, right, this is an interesting thing, yo. If you read the wording, it starts about the children. If you read the top, it says about black women and children, and it says under 25. However, it says the black children or young women who are kidnapping men. I don't see nothing about missing brothers, yo. So that hits back on. That's very interesting, yo. That's very interesting. One thing I've always noticed too when it comes to like murders, especially murders of black men in urban environments, a lot of times, yo, if you read the articles, one of the things they'll put in there is that, gang related, right? Like that changes it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is supposed to gang related. So that in itself is very interesting. So I'm gonna do some deep diving into this. But to me, I think it is kind of a setup, yo. I think it's kind of a setup, because if you think about it, when there's an Amber Alert, everybody looks at the Amber Alert, right? If there's a specific alert simply for black people, you can simply ignore that. If you're a racist, if you're not fond of black folk, it's Ebony Alert, don't worry about it. Somebody's kidnapped. It's an Ebony Alert. I'm not going to worry about it. To me, I don't think it's a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's something. I do think we should do a better job of protecting each other, a better job of looking for each other, a better job of going out there into the neighborhoods, putting up flyers, putting up posts. And I have seen a lot of people sharing a lot of things these days when it comes to missing children, especially missing black children, especially young missing black women. So I have seen an uptick in that, I believe. So on a positive note, I do think we're doing a better job at that. However, I think alert specifically for black women and children is not going to make a difference or hill of beans. You know what I'm saying? I think it could actually make it worse. Just like I said earlier, I think it actually could make it worse because now you can simply ignore the alerts of the people or the demographics that you don't like. And then we know that's going to happen. So it's partly pandering, I believe. And I think RBG said, shout out to RBG too, bro. Good to see you here, bro. It's divisive and it is. If somebody's missing, somebody's missing, If a child is missing, this child is missing. And I'm not even of the the notion that one child is different than other. If a kid is missing, the kid is missing, man. I think everybody should stop up and look. I don't care what color that kid is, man. A kid is a kid, bro. So if somebody's missing, you should stop, look, think about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see the value in having a different system for that. Shout out to Highly Flavored. Glad you come through. Why an age limit in the first place? And yes, exactly, yo. That is highly suspicious to me. There are plenty of black, and that's one thing I think that's never talked about either. There's plenty of missing black men. I don't think they even care. I think that's probably the higher demographic as far as don't care if they're missing. I think a lot of people have a soft spot for kids and women. I don't think nobody cares if a 33-year-old man is missing. You know, oh, he probably somewhere. So he probably went and got his passport or something. He probably in Colombia with some hoes. You know what I'm saying? I think that it is way more less empathy for missing black men, particularly between the ages of 22 and maybe 50, that they don't even try to look for them. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think about that thing about the men not included in the article, Leroy? Yo, is that kind of a hell of a revelation?
I mean, yeah, like I said kind of earlier too, like it's plenty of men that go missing. Like you said, people just brush it off as, oh, he just doing this thing, or he off doing whatever. But nah, men be going missing. You know what I mean? Like I said, people are doing crazy things. And another thing too, which is something that I kind of don't like the framing of like women and children, because women and children are not the same. You know what I mean?
Word.
And it's kind of like I guess some people take it as like a compliment, you know, to womanhood, but it's actually not. You know, we're not equal to children, and you know, some women, you know, can harm children. You know, half of these kids then went missing because you had a friendly women, you know, come play the front role, and they get kidnapped and taken, you know, with whoever. You know what I mean? Like I said, some of these women are kidnapping kids. So, you know, I never really liked that framing in general. So especially not when it comes to black women and children. I think, like you said too, the whole Ebony Alert is gonna have a bunch of white folks saying, "Oh, there's Ebony missing. I ain't worried about that." You know,
hit ignore on the phone. It's just one of those missing Negroes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But yeah, you know, we definitely need to be worried about all our people going missing. You know, just because a man is missing, you know, it's crazy. You know, it's a homie from my hometown, you know, relates to my peoples. He's been missing since 05, you know. His people still want to know where he at, what happened to him, you know what I mean? You know, not all missing cases have like a happy outcome, but you know, people would like to know answers about a lot of these people that are just gone, and people just accept it as, oh, they did their thing, he gone with the wind. Nah, you know, just because he's a man just doesn't mean, and which is crazy because factually, you know, men are faced with the most violence of crimes. They're killed the most, you know what I mean? So many violent things are happening to men more than they are to women and children. But you know, that's a whole other
that's a whole we in a gender war topic now. We might have to say that for next week. Shout out to Highly Favored. I'm an elderly woman, so if I go missing, it don't matter. They actually do have silver alerts. That's one thing I do agree with. They have silver alerts for people who are elderly. A lot of people who have dementia these days and walk off and stuff like that. So they do have a special alert, which I do agree with that one. I think that is a good thing, but to specify on race or something like that, I don't see the value or the inherent value in that, you know, outside of the community supposed to gather in and look anyway. Like we're supposed to get together and look anyway, particularly if you live in those areas. I think that's way more important in the story, is that local area where you're missing it actually knows or is alert that you're gone, whether you're whatever color you are. If you're in that area, the quicker the better, right? And it's always a time limit within like 48 hours. If you're not found, you know, it drops significantly in the amount they're gonna fire the percentage of people that are found after that 48 hours passes. So to me, I don't care. Get it to that neighborhood, get it to that local area within 48 hours. But I think California is just doing California shit right here. I think some of them brothers out there still waiting on their reparations check. They think they're finna get in the next day or two. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think California does a lot of just pandering, just surface level. We gonna say this and do another thing. We're not gonna do this type of shit out there. They probably have some of the worst politicians I've probably ever seen. Like I can't name maybe Mississippi. They probably neck and neck with California for different reasons, but that's about it. Do you have anything else on this one, Lyra?
Nah, I'm good on it.
All right, let's roll up. Last topic we got for the night. We're making good time. We're gonna about an hour. We doing good time. Them dishes is calling. All right, so we got the new rapping, right? So a lot of the rappers are getting actually rich off Twitch, I believe it's called, the streaming app. We stream people playing games, but a lot of people actually have platforms now on that. And so we had a revelation on my other we talked about this the other day on another platform. I got the Hip Hop High Society. Make sure y'all check us out. But Juicy J mentioned that hip hop sales are down 40%, right? And we had a very prominent rapper named Tee Grizzley who reportedly is making $50,000 a week through game streaming. He has his own like Grand Theft Auto server, and he Twitch streams, and he's making $50K a week, which I'm sure he was not getting rapping, right? Which is why he probably hasn't put a single out in like a year, right? Or at least a hit single. So my question is streaming the new get rich avenue? And I'm pull up a video here on that cesspool known as World Star, but this is a pretty relevant to the topic here. So this is Lil Yachty. Mute that. We're not trying to get. All right, here we go.
But I watch a lot of movies. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat 1.
Mortal Kombat 1?
Yeah.
You don't be streaming?
I was the first rapper to stream. 2017. Before anyone. There was no streaming. Twitch wasn't even popping.
Yeah.
I was on Twitch. It was me and Post Malone on Twitch, 2017. Nobody was there.
One of the first rappers.
Check it. No one was on Twitch before me. And I would think I was there before Post Malone. But it was just us. It was the only rappers. Yes.
Wow.
7 years ago.
It's crazy seeing the evolution of people like Kai. Shout out to homie Kai. It's insane. The money for streaming is OD.
Kai's my brother. Shouts out to Kai. Shouts out Phantom. Shouts out to AMP. Shouts out fucking Aiden
Ross. Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
It's crazy seeing the evolution of streaming. That's where the future's going, though. That
The young guys, the young bros, they're going crazy. 100%. Kai for sure got more money than I think 90% rappers. 90% of rappers, I think I got more money.
Same thing with Aiden, yeah, they're 100%.
Aiden too, for sure.
It's just a lot of money we're streaming.
Aiden,
we just started streaming.
Happy related, Aiden. Birthday's yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, so that was what I wanted you to hear on that. If you heard the last part, I think that's the part that's relevant to the conversation, is that he hit on that the streamers are actually making a lot more money than the rappers, which, I mean, you can see as a good thing, a bad thing. Particularly, I think a lot of people treat music and rap in general as more of a get rich stream than actually care about the music. But there's a notion that if you rap, that you're going to get all this money and riches and all this, which I think is that notion is kind of being nipped in the bud. Particularly lately, you actually had a couple rappers go to prison because they've been caught in different schemes trying to rob. We had a rapper here, I believe, Spot 'em got him, and I think I want to say he went to jail for robbery or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You had Max B, you got 30 years originally for setting up a robbery. You had a couple rappers. Actually, we had a dude named Bump J from Chicago who's coming up. He went to prison for robbing a bank, right? So and these people have 6 singles, top singles, you know, top hits, you know, and they're in prison for robbing. So I think the notion that you can make so much money rapping is kind of being nipped in the bud. But what we're seeing right now is a lot of these people are making money through these different streaming platforms, right? They're making a lot of money through that. So my question, the rhetoric or the question or the thing I'm throwing out there right now is streaming going to become the new get rich quick thing, and we're going to see a big slight to that, and would that necessarily be a good or a bad thing, right? Is it a good or a bad thing that people strive to make videos or go viral or want to be an influencer or things of that nature, particularly the young black males out here, or even young black females for that matter? What do you think, Lero?
I can definitely see it. I say, you know, with the whole rapping and stuff, kind of the whole music streaming era has kind of like produced this whole, like, people just want to get hype off these little singles they drop, get rich, and, you know, now they live this life. But, you know, you got to keep producing, you know, and I think, you know, this whole streaming era, not outside of just like all types of streaming, but specifically music streaming, you know, has kind of produced like this culture of you know, you have a lot of artists who aren't necessarily looking for longevity or aren't looking to develop themselves as artists and plan to like make this a career. You know, they're really kind of just chasing a lifestyle. And when it comes to streaming, I think it's pros and cons to that because, you know, a lot of the get rich quick, you know, and the rhetoric that a lot of people think, oh, if I just start doing this, I'm going to get some money. You know, not everybody who's streaming is making a whole bunch of money either. You know, you got a lot of people who've been streaming for years and they just, you know, they still got day jobs they go to, you know, it's not paying the bills, you know. And I think, you know, for everybody, whether it be in music or streaming, you know, not everybody in these fields are instantly getting money. And when it comes to streaming, you may get rich and, you know, have a year, you know, 2023 could be your year, and 2024 somebody else then came up and got all the attention. They not watching you no more, you know, they not paying attention to you no more, you know. So you're gonna have to find other ways to build legitimacy around your streaming, you know what I mean, to if you want to remain relevant and if you want to, you know, fund this rich and fancy lifestyle, if you do happen to get your big break, you know, doing something on one of these platforms out here. But yeah, you know, so people just got to be careful of the whole get rich quick thing. Anybody telling you, you know, get rich quick, I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10 it's a scam and it's not for everybody, you know. It's, I don't think nothing's really a get rich quick, you know. You're gonna have to put in the work regardless if you want to be a streamer, you know. It's a lot of stuff you're gonna have to do. You working just to maintain that. So nothing is easy and comes overnight. That's all I can really say.
I think a lot of this revolves around the money consciousness. Shout out to the matron. She used to always talk about the money consciousness that people have. And in reality, if you don't have passion in something, right? If you're not passionate about something, if you're not even talented in that, it don't matter, you know, how many people got rich off of it. If you are not talented in that realm, or if you're not passionate and don't want to put in the work, like you said, then it really doesn't matter. There's no real get rich quick scheme. It's you do dope shit and people, and you get paid from it. If you produce dope stuff, right? If you do things that you are passionate about and are top notch, eventually the money will come behind it. You know, I'm still waiting on my money behind this dope podcast, but I, you know, it's gonna come one day, you know. But I think that's the biggest thing is that people need to be aware of, is that you shouldn't do things just because you think you can get rich behind it. You should do things that you have a passion about, things that you can put time into, things that you really feel as though, you know, you are a talented person in this avenue. I simply put it with you, having doing a lot of these interviews and talking to a lot of people. Some people simply don't have the gift of gab, yo. Some people simply can't talk. It's not an easy thing to get on to different platforms or even produce music or produce art and stuff like that, where millions, you know, possibly millions, thousands, hundreds of people are going to be here to critique your stuff, you know, or even have the nerves to get up here and put yourself out there like that in a lot of avenues. And I've seen it firsthand where a lot of people think they can come up and then I kind of, you know, I did a couple interviews and stuff like that. It's like, all right, I got to push them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? To open up and stuff like that, you know, is because they don't have that natural gift. Again, I'm saying you can't develop it or whatever, but maybe that's not what you're here for. Maybe that's not what you're passionate about. So I think when you do a bunch of stuff to get rich and not necessarily do it because you like doing it, the art form suffers as a result. And we're seeing that with hip hop right now. That's why I put that 40% caveat in there. The sales dropping. The sales are dropping because you got people producing music who really don't give a rat's ass about music. They just want to try to get some money, get the bag, get the fame, get the followers, get the girls, get to do whatever their preference is. That's what they're trying to do. They're not really trying to advance in music. And you can tell people that's passionate in music, because just like with any job, with any endeavor, they try to better themselves as they go along with it. They learn to produce beats, or they may learn to play an instrument, or they may, you know, that you see in a performance that they really, you know, are passionate about what they do as far as musically. I don't think a lot of these rappers give a rat's ass about music in general. That's why you're seeing declining sales. Hopefully it leads to a renaissance in avenues like hip hop and stuff like that. But as you know, the hype beasts and all them other people go away. But yeah, you can see it in the quality of work if people, you know, don't give a rat's ass and they're just doing it for money. You know, that's what I got on that. And I think you hit on something else when you talking about the basically the new streaming, or streaming is gonna be like the new rapping or whatever like that. I don't necessarily think streaming. I think streaming is gonna hit a point like just like hip hop, where it hits a point where it's at the top, the pinnacle of what it's gonna be, and then you're gonna see people move on to something else. I think people are always looking for like the new thing to move on to. I'm not sure what's next after streaming. We got some crazy shit going on with AI and all this other shit. You might not even see people being the ones behind the mic no more. Who the hell knows? But yeah, I don't know what the next thing is, but I do think that the next thing or the current trend right now will be the streaming thing. I don't even understand how people watch people play video games all day, to be honest. That's part of my old head part talk, right? I don't know how the hell you can sit there. You can play the video game yourself, bro, but my kids do that. They watch people play Roblox and all that other shit. So, hey, if you can make your bread for it, you can get your chips for it, and people like what you do, go for it. You feel me? But Leroy, you got anything?
No, you hit it on the head.
All right, that's all I got. We made it an hour on the dot. I'm proud of you, Leroy. Yo, we did the damn thing. But that's all the topics we got for this week. So I'm gonna toss it out to you, Leroy. If you got anything you want to plug, anything you want to say, any people you want to shout out, this is your time. What you got?
No, I mean, shoot, I'm happy to be back, Hopefully we will remain consistent. Life been crazy, but we going. I'm in a good space. I'm grateful. Hope everybody's doing well, not just nothing but well wishes for everybody, Keep staying hardy, keep pushing, keep staying on your grind. Yeah.
Or definitely shout out to Raya, couldn't make it, but she will probably be back next episode, I believe. She had to pull out last minute. Shout out to everybody who came through in the chat. Highly favored, Real Black Gentleman, RBG, Shop of the 12. Hopefully y'all come back again. If you like what you hear, make sure you share. Make sure y'all check out the other my other project I'm working on, Hip Hop High Society. We have a whole channel. We just released a pod last night. Got some interviews coming. We got some reviews coming. So we're really trying to big up hip hop, man. We're trying to take it back from the people who are currently culture vulturing the art form. A lot of these sites who really don't care about the art form and just basically trying to get their clicks and the views and stuff like that. So we're trying to big that up. So make sure y'all check us out, man. Of course, check out everybody on KWAZ Radio, trying to provide the best content we can for y'all. And that's all we got. Oh, shout out to L over there. I got to hit up my boy L. Hopefully he doing good over there across the seas. But that's all I got. So on behalf of everybody here at the Harsh Reality Podcast, I got to say, peace.
Peace.
Hello there, dear listener. We hope you're enjoying this lovely discussion. If you're not already aware, this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio, a Pan-African nationalist and Garveyite network come to showcasing the rich and varied thoughts of African people. We have an exciting lineup of shows that we think you'll enjoy, including
the Bitter Medicine Podcast.
I think Black people require too much buy-in. Like, we constantly have to sell Black people on things that are beneficial to Black people.
The Pro-Black Perspective Podcast.
I'm fearful that our people are not really studying how to get ahead, And we're kind of, continually staying behind.
The Harsh Reality Podcast.
To me, it don't matter. I think people are so dumbed down, it wouldn't matter what you reveal to them. They still are in the matrix. They're in the simulation. They're going to keep doing what they did. They lemmings. So to me, it don't matter, man.
The Learning Curve Podcast.
Sexual access has never given you economic empowerment. The only person who has ever been economically empowered by a sexual relationship is the wasp and his woman.
The Cathedral Cheek Show.
When we start rising up to fight for our own, I guarantee you they'll stop doing what they're doing. I guarantee you they would have let their brother go. They was waiting to see what Black folks was going to do.
Brother Bakari Podcast.
Black people love to claim folks that hate them, right? They're a slave master, and they are ashamed of who they really are.
The Forecast Radio.
Like if you pray to the same deity as like your enemy, and that God blesses your enemy more than you may want to reconsider who you praying to, you know.
And Tanzan, African Mind.
Africans generally are welcoming of everyone. Sometimes, to my consternation, I think that they should be less, welcoming.
If you love our podcast network, we would be grateful if you could rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website at www.kwazradio.com for more information. Thank you for tuning in. And now, back to the program.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast